Okay, we're going to pick it up back at verse 13 in chapter 2 of the book of Ruth. Then she said, that's Ruth, "Let me find favor in thy sight, my Lord, for thou hast comforted me, and for thou hast spoken friendly unto thine handmaid. Thou I be not like unto one of thine handmaids." So Lord, notice that's a small L. Boaz is an earthly redeemer. Spoken friendly, Ruth has noticed that Boaz is talking from the heart. He's really, they're building a friendship. There's no hanky-panky or anything going on. He's not putting the moves on her. Verse 14, "And Boaz said unto her, At mealtime, come thou hither, and eat of the bread, and dip thy morsel in the vinegar. And she sat beside the reapers, and he reached her parched corn, and she did eat, and was sufficed and left." Sufficed is number 7646. Saba, to sate, i.e., that's filled to satisfaction, have enough. So compare the morsel in the vinegar here to the sop in John 13, verses 20 through 30. When you're doing the Lord's work, you will be fed. Verse 15, "And when she was risen up to glean," again, didn't spend much time in the house. She's up early in the morning, working till, sun up to sundown. She's not a lazy woman. "Boaz commanded his young men, saying, Let her glean even among the sheaves, and approach her not." Verse 16, "And let fall also some of the handfuls of purpose for her, and leave them, that she may glean them, and rebuke her not." So Boaz, he's commanding his workers to let Ruth gather the grain wherever she went. Okay, she was just supposed to be picking up pieces here and there, and he's like, leave her handfuls. So he instructed that, again, not just some leftovers, but give her plenty, and for them to put in the handfuls of the field to Ruth to glean on purpose. It's not by accident. He's instructing his workers to do this. So it reminds me of Matthew 15, verses 22 through 28, when the woman besought Jesus to cure the daughter, and Jesus at first answered her not a word, and then he was sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. It was to meet the children's bread and to cast it to the dogs. The woman answered that the dogs eat the crumbs which fall from the master's table. Okay, so saying that the dog, just like Ruth was supposed to be getting the crumbs from Boaz's field, the woman answered that the dogs eat the crumbs which fall from the master's table, and she knew Jesus was the master. And then it was at that point that Jesus saw how great that woman's faith was. Verse 17, "So she gleaned in the field until evening." And again, that's sundown. "And beat out that she had gleaned, and it was about an ephah of barley." Gleaned in the field to even, sundown. Again, she worked very hard, and she had not asked Boaz of any special favors. She didn't ask, "Can you leave some handfuls?" No, she just, "Let me work and provide for my mother-in-law." Ephah is, it's just short of a bushel. It's more than enough food for Naomi and Ruth. That's what she wanted. Just let us have enough so our needs are met. Verse 18, "And she took it up and went into the city, and her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned. And she brought forth and gave it to her that she had reserved after she has sufficed." Again, suffice is number 3498. Yather, to jut, over, or exceed, to excel, to remain, or be left. It's used here in verse 18 and in verse 14 as "and left." It's different from sufficed in verse 14, which is number 7646. That's why it's important, ladies and gentlemen, to take the words back to the Hebrew in the Old Testament and the Greek in the New Testament. It has different meanings, and sometimes the subtle differences are very large. So they had plenty left over. They had extra. Verse 19, "And their mother-in-law said unto her, Where hast thou gleaned today? And where wroughtest thou? Blessed be he that take knowledge of thee." And she showed her mother-in-law with whom she had wrought, and said, "The man's name with whom I wrought today is Boaz." Okay, so Naomi's certainly thankful and knows that Boaz has blessed her. Okay, so she's starting to come back around. Okay, first she was like bitter. So although she doesn't realize the total story, she's she's starting to get bits and pieces here, but she's still not really realizing, what a hand in all this that the Lord had. And verse 20, Naomi said unto her daughter-in-law, Blessed be he, and that's referring to Boaz, of the Lord, who hath not left off his kindness to the living and to the dead. Okay? Naomi said to her, the man is near kin to us, one of our next kinmen. Okay, so now Naomi is coming around. She's saying, Blessed be he of the Lord. So she's starting to remember all that all the blessings come from the Lord. One is number 1350. Gal, it's to redeem. Okay, according to Oriental law of kinship, to be the next of kin, and as such to buy back a relative's property, marry his widow, etc. Purchase, ransom, redeem. Okay, I stated, after Jeremy's mother was left a widow by Jeremy's father, who would not take, I married his mother. Okay, so I, in a sense, became a type of earthly redeemer for Jeremy and his mom. So, but remember, what the earthly things aren't important. What's important is the heavenly and spiritual, and that's Jesus. So, I'm no way placing myself on the same level as him. I just taught Jeremy these lessons so he knew how much I loved him. And it was very much. I miss him very much. Verse 21, and Ruth the Moabitess said, He said unto me also, Thou shalt keep fast by my young men until they have ended all the harvest. So Boaz told Ruth, you keep staying in the field and keep getting these handfuls. So we'll pick up in the next study with the 22nd verse.